Good morning. This is the international arbitrage from the west coast of Barbados, just before Whole Town. Early morning. As you can see, the sun is to my right. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about what's going on currently in the news. Just it's quite interesting, really. Barbados is this is just where I'm at the moment. This is just to give you guys some context. This is an empty lot of land, luxury. This is luxury property. This is a major, quite a massive. Well, not massive. There's 2 or 3 acres of land here. I don't know what this probably costs. Probably more like 3 acres, probably somewhere in the region of $20-30 million for this land. If you're interested in developing it or building luxury villas, if you're into that kind of thing. But anyway, we'll talk about the economics of luxury villas in today's environment, especially with the reports coming out of the US about the Bank of America and unrealized losses and all these things going on in the US banking system. For a long time right now, as in the last few years, there has been a massive move to investing in private assets, private markets, whether it's private credit, private equity, small private equity, alternative investment funds. I haven't done the numbers, but there's definitely an underlying theme and evidence of that. So much so that the US SEC has dropped new private fund advisor rules that govern the investor protection and the obligations of investment managers to investors. Anyway, the first video we're going to do today is more about what's going on with Barbados and the United States and Venezuela, which is actually quite fascinating, really. So the US actually State Department has announced that the US is in negotiations with Venezuela once again, and these negotiations are taking place in Barbados. If any of you follow me on LinkedIn, you will notice that I always not often comment, but I always like a lot of the diplomatic posts, the posts from the Barbados Foreign Services Department. They publish quite a bit of LinkedIn content about their activity, the meetings, the engagement, the communication that they have always been undertaking with the Venezuelan government over the last 5 to 10 years. And of course, that is a lot of painstaking, diligent work, which is required communication, open communication, open channels of communication is of course always very important to give agreement, to give negotiation a chance. You have to be able to communicate. And sometimes, or quite often with humans, that is easier said than done. Those of us who have teenage children will understand what that means. Because sometimes I feel that I need to go and get some training from the diplomatic service to be able to communicate more effectively with my teenagers, because sometimes I feel I really just lack the skills, the communication skills and the ability. So this diplomatic initiative of the Barbados government, so I am a little bit biased as a Barbadian citizen and somebody based in Barbados, but you know, I always say with the Barbados government, you have to give Jack his jacket. Now, I'm not a political guy. I don't like looking at things from one political party or another, so I won't use names or party names or anything like that. But what I will say, competence is competence is competence. I have admired the diligence of the Barbados government and its approach to Venezuela. Of course, as a businessman, I think that I know that Venezuela has, when you unlock the problems, or if we're able to unlock the problems between the US and Venezuela, the entire Caribbean and the entirety of Latin America will benefit. The world will benefit, because Venezuela is a fantastic country. When I was aircraft engineering apprentice for British Airways back in 1991, I took a couple of flights to Venezuela because the British Airways flight used to pop down to Caracas, pick up passengers, and come back to Barbados, pick up people, and then jet it, bomb it right back over the Atlantic to London. And I managed to go on quite a few flights down to morning. I managed to get to quite a few flights down to Caracas. So Venezuela is a fantastic place. And sadly, for a large part of my career, I can't remember when the sanctions between the US and Venezuela got into place, but of course the Venezuelan government and the US have not seen eye to eye for quite some time. And unfortunately, I've not been able to do business in that country, because at the end of the day, the Caribbean, those of us doing in the Caribbean, we operate in the, within the envelope of US policy, the realities therein. So unfortunately, I was unable to really sort of get into Venezuela and be doing things and doing business or what have you. So it is really, so first I think it's commendable that a small country like Barbados has been able to, with very limited resources compared to very large countries with massive resources, that we have been able to facilitate this communication between these two countries. I think that's a fantastic thing. I think it speaks volumes. I think what it also shows is that human ingenuity, human ideas, creativity, difference is valuable, has inestimable value, because the value that could be unlocked by enabling a negotiation, communication between the US and Venezuela is massive. I mean, let's not even just talk about the people whose lives were disrupted because of the disagreements between the governments. Many people from Venezuela left. I met quite a few of them in Gainesville, in Miami, and Orlando, and they're there in force because a lot of people left Venezuela. A lot have migrated to Colombia and Trinidad and other places for one reason or another. But of course, what you would hope is that the US and Venezuela can have their negotiations and essentially reach terms and do business. And that will be a great thing for the region. So I want to commend Barbados for providing a platform. It makes me proud as a Barbadian citizen to see that. And then, of course, as a businessman, let's not get it out of focus. As a businessman, I'm really hoping, because I have quite a lot of clients in Latin America, quite a lot of relationships, and a lot of us are watching this very closely. I have been keeping them informed because we get a few, our social media and stuff is from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Barbados is quite good, because it publishes stuff which is not seen necessarily in the press and the news. But our ambassador down there, Mr. Ambassador Aquinas, I believe his name is, has been doing a good job. I've never met him, but I promise that one day soon I would like the opportunity to do that, as somebody whose interests lie very much in the region. And yeah, I just want to, obviously I'm glad the US has decided to enter into negotiations. I don't have any details. I have no idea why or what the disagreements are, but that's not important. I wish both parties the best. I wish Barbados success in facilitating the platform for communication, and let's hope for good negotiations, good communication, and resolutions. Communication is very difficult, and it is no joke that essentially being able to communicate is the first step to sort of working out your differences and your problems and resolving things. So let's keep our fingers crossed. But my goodness, if the US and Venezuela settle their differences and Venezuela opens up, my gosh, we're gonna have some fun, because Venezuela and Venezuelan people are fantastic people. Some of my clients are Venezuelan. They're fantastic owner managers doing tons of international business all over Latin America, all over the world actually. They're prolific people. I love working with them, and you know, they're very interesting people, very friendly, very warm, and I wish all parties the best. So I will cut some videos when there are public announcements and just put them into my content so that everybody can essentially be aware and dig into what's going on. Cheers, guys.